Hello drivers! Wouldn't it be great if the driver series had an official timeline? You may have already seen videos like these on other video game series such as Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest or The Legend of Zelda. The same is true with other media with the Aliens franchise, Star Wars or Fast and Furious. When a franchise starts to be cross-media, the risk of being chronologically confused becomes higher. And if Driver has had cross-media releases, with for example portable video games but also books and comics, we can also count on an official Driver series timeline. That's right, and while it might be the first time that you are hearing about an official timeline, I can reassure you that it is perfectly normal because it was never released publicly. We found it last year in a Behance page from an artist who worked on Driver San Francisco, alongside other great artworks that we may discuss further in the future. So let's check it out to see if there is any holes or anachronism mistakes. Let's start with the beginning, and no, we're not talking about Driver 1 because even if it's the first game released in 1999, it is not the first if you look at it in a chronological order. Indeed, it is Driver San Francisco, the Wii version, that begins the story of the Driver series. We can notice that the timeline uses a different cover for the Wii version, better than what we ended up with, which is very misleading. If you recall, the Wii version shares the same name and cover as the console and PC versions, but they have nothing in common and are even on the opposite side of the timeline. In fact, the Wii version tells Tanner's story before the event of Driver 1. It is also in this episode that Tanner and Jones meet for the first time, although we don't see Jones again until Driver 2. Kane is also present, and his absence from Driver 1 is easily explained by his arrest at the end of the Driver San Francisco Wii version, but even with this we can spot an obvious continuity problem as Kane and Tanner do not seem to know each other when they first meet in Driver 2 at Kane's compound.
You'll wish you never met me.
Shape up, dude. It's the main man. What's up, boss? Like the new wheels?
Good job.
I wish I could say it was all me, but my man here did most of the driving.
Hey,
I know who you are. Mikhail won't shut up about you. If half what he says is true, you might have a lot more work coming. That's if you can handle it.
if the money's good, the driving's good.
Park this ride out of sight. Kane.
You'll wish you never met me.
So after the Wii version we have Driver 1, which needs no introduction, and between Driver 1 and 2 we have Driver Renegade, the 3DS game. It tells the story of Tanner's adventures after he quit his undercover police job at the end of Driver 1 by giving up his badge, and explains how he got back into the police force before Driver 2 begins. In Renegade, Tanner works as a security guard in New York before going undercover once more, but not as a cop, to help a senator clean up crime. The story does a good job of tying the events of Driver 1 and 2 together with the appearance of the Lieutenant Mackenzie, which was already in Driver 1 and who suspects Tanner of going to the wrong side of the law. It's surprising to see how faithful the developers wanted to be to the Driver universe by bringing back characters from the first game, even though the games are 12 years apart and you have to be a diehard fan to understand the references. After that we have Driver 2, which we all know very well, but which is not directly followed by Driver 3 as we may have thought, and it's not even by a video game this time. The middle story is done with a book, Driver Nemesis. I've talked about this before in the Driver San Francisco Celebration Week, and the story is set in Louisiana with Tanner and Jericho meeting up again before the events of Driver 3. The black strips and blazoned along the bonnet made it look like a bright, proud flag. Bowman whistled in appreciation. "Never get rid of that," he murmured.
Incredible.
Now Driver 3, which doesn't need me to dwell on it, it has its own story problems due to last minute changes and consequent recutting, but right after that we have the comic that connects the events of Driver 3 to Driver San Francisco, or at least it should have before the beginning of Driver San Francisco was changed and made the comic chronologically invalid, but that will be for another video, don't worry about it. In any case, Driver San Francisco, the version we all know, is the last piece of the timeline released in 2011 and currently remains the most up-to-date events regarding Tanner's life. So if we think about it for a minute, that means that in the same month of September 2011, we saw the release of Driver San Francisco, including the Wii version, Driver Renegade, Driver Crossing the Line and Driver Nemesis. 5 different stories that are completely scattered throughout the series timeline. I do like some driver content, but I think it was too much at once. In 1 month, Ubisoft released enough material to fill the gaps between the releases of each main video game, with Driver San Francisco ending the timeline so far. Well, this gives a very complete story to the series, I must admit it, although the media has focused on a single release window and that hasn't helped fans grasp everything. I wonder how many fans indeed have even followed and read all the stories in the Driver franchise. And I know I am not one of them, as I never played Renegade and nor finished the book, although I said I would in September 2020. And now allow me to say a few comments to finish the video. Firstly, there is no mention of driver parallel lines in the timeline, which can be explained by the fact that it does not feature Tanner, so we can say that this timeline is the driver Tanners. It is somewhat ironic that Parallel Lines is the first and only driver game to clearly state which years it takes place in, and all the other driver games have no date and can only be ranked against each other. Moreover, one wonders where Driver Speedboat Paradise fits into all this. Sure, it wasn't out at the time this timeline was created, but it's still an official game in the series, like it or not. As you can imagine, Speedboat Paradise story doesn't give away many details, so it could be another intermediate story or maybe post-Driver San Francisco, who knows. Finally, we don't know where the live-action series will fit into this timeline. The most likely scenario is that the live-action will be in a timeline of its own to avoid having to deal with continuity issues, as there are already so many connections in the video game timeline. After a far too busy September 2011, I think it will be wise for the series, the live-action series, to start with a nearly blank slate, keeping the essence of the driver story with Tanner undercover in a crime syndicate and pleasing the old guard fans, so us, while keeping its chance to attract a whole new audience. And that's all for today. Does the official timeline match what you thought before watching this video? Where do you think the live action series will be set? You can also comment about the lighting that may be changed in future videos. This was also a very special video for me, since it's the 400th video posted on my channel. Big thanks to all of you for being there more than 5 years after the start of my channel activities. Thanks to my Red River film producer as well to give me mental boost to keep making driver content after all these years. Thanks to DriverDimension.com, French Contact, Neurosins, Tenkonan YouTube, Paul Lanois, Emek McLaughlin, Carguy50, Denis Frontier and a brand new member, Mutt, which is also a great modder of the Driver Syndicate. You can join the Redriver Club and enjoy many rewards by clicking on the blue join button below the video. In any case, see you soon, drivers.